Put your comments down.
Yeah.
Let us know some of your favorite parts,
what do
or
you
parts
think
that you were
about
like,
the whole
time travel?
Gamera question? What do you think about that? Gamera question.
Or Gamera. Now you've thrown him into
Is Gamera
Godzilla.
going to be in it?
Hirohito Gamera! Okay. Hey, Internets. It's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about Avengers Endgame, which we both saw this weekend.
We did.
As did the rest of the world.
A lot of people did. A lot of people across the world.
Based on the tickets.
Like it was a negative snap. Like, go see the movie.
So we're not going to recap it for everybody who's already seen it. But what we will do is talk about, some things we loved, things we had some questions about, little observations, nerdy things. So, yes, Avengers Endgame. Paul, what'd you think, sir?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I was fearful that I wouldn't.
Oh,
so
yeah?
I think I did the right thing and set my expectations low.
So why are you in fear of that? I was not in fear of that. I was like, I'm going to enjoy this, and then I did.
Wow.
But, okay.
Wow. Yeah, no, no, sorry.
You just, because so many series projects, usually the last chapter tends to be a letdown. Is that why? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just and I kind of knew that they were going back in time or whatever, and I didn't. But the things that were that I liked were surprises, and that's good. I obviously didn't anticipate that. So
definitely surprises in this. Like everyone
I would say
else.
the starkest surprises was that they really changed Thor and Hulk's characters.
Quite. Yeah. I don't know if that's the biggest surprise, but you're right. On the list of like top 5 surprises, the fact that they were like, we're gonna move a fat Thor, and then we're just gonna keep him out of shape the whole time.
Yeah.
That was gutsy,
more
so
than
to
that,
speak.
because it was
yeah.
more than just his physical appearance, right? Because he was off his game because he really was. Decided to take it really hard. He took it really hard. The end of it.
He was depressed,
and so so
hence the overeating.
Yeah, but I definitely you can see it in line with what they really started on Thor Ragnarok, which is to make it a more comical character.
Yeah.
So it's like one thing they were exploring before is the whole I'm a big guy and I'm a strong guy and I'm not really aware of, or at least how I'm affecting other people or whatever. So that's
he's
why
got a big ego.
Yeah, so he doesn't bother to learn people's names very well, or he just
Rabbit.
It's like I think the joke in what was it? No, the joke in Doctor Strange is like, why didn't you send me an email? And it's like, do you have email? Like, what's an email? He doesn't know. He's like, so he's a god, and they've been playing up his humor more, which I think is why I'm glad he's still doing it. Because he could have decided, like RDJ and Chris Evans, that he was done, but I feel like they squandered him in both his movies.
Oh, in the first 2.
Yeah.
Movies? Okay.
So it's good that, and it's interesting if he's going to go on to be in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think the answer is yes, he will be.
Interesting. Well, we'll see if he's going to be in the whole movie.
He even called them the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
That's what he did. Yes,
I know, and which is also a comic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I think they're doing interesting things with this character, but but him really trying to do that pathos and humor, I think was
because the humor is there, but it's not a wacky Jar Jar Binks humor, right? It's not like a blah, 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 blah. Oh, great. I don't know. Like there's a style of humor that gets interjected sometimes. Like I'll be the character that's the comic relief, and then that character is so annoying that you just die every time they show up.
Yes.
He's not that. He's the comedy.
Right, no, he's an important
The comedy
character.
is organic. You can see why this stuff happened.
Right.
He feels depressed because he feels like he was the guy that didn't go for the head, and he's responsible.
Yes.
Now, is he responsible? No, not really, but he feels it,
Right.
and so that sense of guilt puts him on this track. And to the film's credit, there's a few things they do that are in this vein that I think are great, where they show the consequences.
Yes.
So they could easily have done a thing where they're like, look, Thor, we need you back on the team. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. With a little training montage. He does some crunches. He does a little, I don't know, Doctor Strange isn't there, but whatever. So somebody gives some little magic thing. He's like, "Oh, I'm back. Great. Okay." And he's in shape, and they have in shape Chris Hemsworth running around doing stuff. But they didn't. They're like, no, there's no time for him to do crunches. He's just gonna be overweight Thor for the rest of this time. And like that was bold.
Sure.
And I appreciate it. And yeah, that Hemsworth is a very talented comedic actor, as it turns out.
Yeah.
And that guy is you give him the right material, and he can certainly provide.
I don't think you've seen him in Bad Times at El Royale, which is directed by what's his name? I forgot that. Drew Goddard.
Okay.
So Chris Hemsworth was in that, and he was playing a bad guy actually.
Okay.
You know, I think one of the interesting things about him in terms of he's getting pigeonholed into these big strong parts or whatever, but he has to work out to be like that. It's not like he's like that all the time.
No, he's like that all the time.
And I think it
he
can
eats
actually
donuts. He watches
problem
TV.
with with comedy. Actually, I think if you're not big, I think if you have if you're a little more in your body, I think it's better for comedy.
Yeah. Well, and in fact, I mean, I almost hate to bring this movie up because a lot of people didn't really like it, and I didn't care for it so much myself. But he was good in it. Is Ghostbusters remake? He was funny. He had actually some funny lines. It was all right. Okay. I was meh about it.
Oh, okay.
But he had some very funny comedic lines. He showed his comedic chops in that movie.
Yes.
So yes, that was a commitment that the directors made. They're like, oh, fine. I know, and we know people want to see our six-pack abs heroes, but no. Well, he's going to be out of shape hero. The other thing that they did, which I thought was nice, is they did leave some consequence for the snap. Like they could have easily done we just undid it.
Yeah.
And now nobody remembers it.
Right.
And we're fine. And everything's fine.
That was the interesting parts that they served Tony Stark's character by saying, okay, we have to keep what I've got right now, which is his child and his marriage to his wife. So it's not we're gonna snap it back to the just after. No, it's 5 years later. Stuff has changed.
Yeah, the 5-year gap.
Be really interesting to see how they do that in Spider-Man.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of I don't want to say retconning, it's just future conning. But they've got to, how does that work? Where, because when you saw the trailers, say for Spider-Man: Far From Home, you had the sense because he seems kind of well adjusted and happy-go-lucky, and all the high schoolers are going on, that you thought maybe they don't remember, but they do. Like everyone's going to know. Yep.
Yes.
There was this horrible thing that happened. We were gone for a while. I guess it wasn't so horrible while they were gone because Spider-Man's like, oh, whatever. They told me I woke up, whatever. But still, they know that this horrible and the world had to deal with the loss of half of its population and all the chaos and destruction. And so that I like the fact that they left that as this happened. We didn't just erase the entire event. So good on them for that. There's a big change there. Really enjoyed seeing, we just already talked about Thor, and you mentioned Hulk, but the effect of the snap on all of our heroes. These are people that are used to winning.
Yes.
These are people that are used to succeeding through their abilities, and they didn't.
Right.
And, obviously you've got Hawkeye goes nuts.
Yeah.
Decides, all right, vigilante justice. I'll go and just start killing bad guys. He basically, whatever, he became... much like the show Dexter, where you've got the guy, kind of the serial killer, doing stuff for the right reasons, but doing horrible things. Seemed like that was his reaction.
Yeah.
I'll carve out justice
in their hearts,
and be do a lot of killing. You've got Thor with his depression. You've got Captain America does these self-help groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we also see a cameo from one of the directors. I think it's Joe Russo, which that's his way of maybe I can still help somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe that's in the moment. Actually, that's when he becomes worthy. I don't know, but at some point he becomes worthy to pick up Mjolnir, which is an amazing scene. Just visual.
I don't think you need to boil it down to a minute.
Okay, there was 1 minute in particular where he became worthy. You've got Natasha. She's trying to keep things together, even though there's this, this imperfect, fractured version of Earth that she's trying to kind of hold together, but she feels like, I got to do something to help out. And so she's kind of the de facto leader, I guess, really, in all the chaos that's happened. Because that's the only reaction she can think of to have. And then you've got Hulk. Banner figures out a way to actually uses it as a positive in a way, like unite the two selves. Because in the last movie, obviously there was a resistance. We can't exist together, but he found a way to have them coalesce. So you've got the Professor Hulk character, which was a funny scene where he's going around when they go back in time. To the Valley, where they're like, you go and you have to pretend to be him for a while. And so it's like, half-heartedly pushing a motorcycle. But then you've got Tony, who obviously when we see him first come back and he's emaciated and like half dead, he's obviously incredibly upset, and he has this, everybody else sucks. Why didn't you listen to me? But once 5 years happens, and he's living in a little house in the country. He's got his daughter, and he's got his happy marriage. And life's not so bad for Tony Stark.
It's not.
And so, that's a cool thing too, is that, okay, what if it's not so bad? Okay, status quo is actually okay for me at this moment. And I'm going to give that up and go through a lot of effort and probably risk death to make it right for other people. And so that's the sacrifice of the comfortable status quo is pretty cool. So they thought this through. I'll just say that the writing on this thing, obviously the money spent on all the special effects is, you kind of knew that going in that they'd be top notch, and it is. But the writing on this is really clever. Well done. Thing.
But now I'm going to go straight into the thing that I think we need to learn more about.
All right, more about.
Which is exactly how the time travel works.
Yes.
Now, I've heard the directors say that, and in the course of the movie, actually, they tried to teach us that how we expect it to work is not how
don't
it's
listen
work.
to movies.
Don't listen to movies.
Don't listen to Back to the Future
movies.
or Die Hard. That very popular time travel movie. That was funny.
Where people are affecting their own past. That's not what's happening in this movie.
Right.
So not merely the fact that they take all these stones from the past and then have to put them back. It's that the things that happen in the past aren't affecting their present. So Loki, when he takes the Tesseract and disappears, it's not like, oh no, now everything that occurred with the Tesseract, that didn't happen.
It's in another reality.
It's another reality.
But so in some reality that did happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but it's a question now about exactly where they are now and what's going on. So, big thing that we ran into is I think that it means that Gamora is not in this reality, and you think she is.
I do. So
I don't think she is.
This started, we'll take this back a little bit, because the reason I was thinking about Gamora and whether she's in this reality or not was actually a connection to Black Widow. So Black Widow sacrifices herself for the Soul Stone. That scene, by the way, also very cool.
Yeah.
Hawkeye and Black Widow vying to commit suicide.
Yes.
It was a really cool take on hero versus hero action.
Yeah.
They're fighting each other, but the idea of, I want to die. No, I want to die. And so she sacrifices herself very heroically. Then later, we see Hulk after doing the snap and stuff, and he's apologizing to the team, saying, I tried to bring that back, but I couldn't. There's no way I could do it.
Right.
Okay. But then we see that Gamora, our analog to person who sacrifices himself for the Soul Stone, would be Gamora. She's the one who sacrificed her. Well, she didn't sacrifice herself. She was sacrificed, but she died for the Soul Stone. So theoretically, by those rules, there'd be no way to bring her back. And yet, we see this earlier version of Gamora, who is basically the same person. Is just she doesn't have some life experiences. She doesn't have the experience of meeting up with Quill yet.
Yeah.
Although she's now met him.
Right.
And so, but there she is. I mean, she's essentially the same person. You know, fill in some gaps. She's actually learning about her history from current day Nebula, who's like, oh yeah, afterward we were friends. I mean, she's learning what the gap is, right? So I just assume then that 9 years earlier Gamora is going to hang out with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That said, she is not on the ship when they are leaving at the end, when they're at Thor and Peter are having their little ego off.
Right.
And Peter's looking at this little image of her or something, like he's trying to track her whereabouts or something.
You don't know that.
We don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is.
So in my opinion, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out, she's a part of the cast. And it just, they have to play with that notion of, hey, I know you don't know me, but I know you. And, you know, people have told you, right, that we were together, because they have. And Nebula's like, yeah, you liked him. So she just has to work her way back into the cast. But you think
I think
something
she's
different.
gone. They're gonna have to figure out another way to bring her back. I guess it's possible that they could do that. I'd be disappointed if that were the case.
Because I think a lot of people would be disappointed, maybe me included, but a lot of people would be disappointed if she wasn't in it. It would be like,
I'm not
well,
saying
why
she
isn't she
shouldn't
there?
be in
She's
it. I wouldn't say I'm saying they have to figure out another way to bring her back.
So you're saying that maybe the plot of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 would be to bring back the Soul Stone sacrifice version of Gamora. Okay. I think they're going to be like, well, let's move past that. We'll take the 9 years earlier version, but okay.
I guess they could do that. I mean, if you think about the what we know about it, that's just an alternative version. So she's not technically the Gamora who.
But so my thought was, if you can do that with Gamora, why not bring the not technically correct but close enough Black Widow?
Well, I feel like they'd have to go back in time to do it, right? Because they haven't done it before, so they'd have to do it. My guess is the movie is going to be about before, before, like let's say before Iron Man 2.
You think it's going to be going back in time?
I think it's going to, yeah.
Wait, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you think is going to be...
No.
Oh.
There's going to be a Black Widow movie.
Yeah. Yes. The Black Widow, let's talk about that. So Black Widow movie is apparently a done deal, and I think that's been...
Yeah, I think so.
They're like, yep, we're doing this. And it will be earlier in time. Maybe even like the 80s?
Yeah.
I don't know for a fact.
Right, that's what I think. That's what I'm talking about.
So like during her training and before she joins the Avengers.
It might be the story of that. I mean,
So what do you think then? I mean, it's interesting telling it now with this really sad, end beat that we know, which is like, oh, and she ends up sacrificing. So I assume Hawkeye is going to be in it then.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah.
We'll learn about Budapest perhaps.
Right.
They've name dropped it several times.
They did. Yeah, I mean, it's like it'd be interesting to think that because they haven't really done anything with Jeremy Renner, so now he's going to get a show, and also perhaps be involved in this, and that'll probably be fine.
So Hawkeye will be one of the Disney shows.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we've got Bucky and Falcon.
Right.
Have a show.
And Vision and Wanda, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, for her, it should only be about like. Okay, I think I figured it out. There he is.
Oh, I see what you mean. Just create a new reality.
Yeah.
Yoink. Got it. You're my vision. He's just like a broom in the closet.
It's like that'd be an interesting way to deal with something that's gone on with her in the comics, which is her powers is such that she either altered reality or changed or killed everyone. She was just a force unto herself or whatever. So if she were to use her powers to somehow alter reality and bring back Vision, I think that would be, it makes sense to me.
So that would be an alternate reality then, an alternate timeline, perhaps?
I don't know. I don't know what it's like magically having another reality insert itself into her.
Because the other show is Loki.
Right.
Now, I was thinking that perhaps when we see Loki escape with the Tesseract in 2012 now, that version of Loki is the one that then is like, hey, he's in an alternate reality, we can just have him do whatever he wants. You were kind of maybe a little cold on that idea.
Yeah, I mean,
because he dies
I guess
in
they
this
could
reality.
do that. Yes, I guess they could do that. But that would, but that's not the way it works, though. Anything that happens that's not what happened before, just its own thing. So when they go back in time and Loki steals the Tesseract, that's not their reality.
Right. It would be he'd be interacting with other versions of the heroes.
Yeah.
But that could be the show. Yeah.
Oh, that could be the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
His further ventures there, I guess. I mean, what I think we've heard, or what I've heard anyway, is that it's supposed to be him at different points in time.
Yeah, like he's like a
trickster that
he's quantum leaping.
Yeah, here, John Wilkes Booth, have this gun.
Why, thanks. I was just gonna try to, whatever. I was gonna use this Nerf hammer, but no, thanks. I appreciate it.
Don't you hate Lincoln? Yeah, go ahead, get him.
So yeah, how does he get through time? That's interesting. So
I mean, who says he has to get through time? He's a god.
Sure, he just lived that long.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good point. All right. So the other guy.
I wish they would do there's a series of comic books where he runs for president. I wish they'd do that.
Maybe they do it. I don't know. Why not?
It doesn't sound like
TV show.
That. Yes.
They do have obviously Cap, who I thought was going to be the sacrifice guy.
Yeah.
Turned out to be Iron Man.
Yeah.
But what they did is they've more or less they've written Cap out of the show without killing him.
Right.
So they did, which is cool. They found an interesting way of going. Okay, he's not going to be, and so he. This was another one where you just blew my mind on this one because I thought one thing and then you showed me an article and I'm like, oh, all right, it is something else. Yeah. So in my mind, Captain America, he does the little 5 seconds. I'll be back in 5 seconds. Doesn't come back. It did like the bit that Bucky, I think it's fairly obvious, knew that Cap was going to go back to the past. He says goodbye to him. And then he's the one that's like, we'll go over by the bench. You go over. I think I know who it is. You go. It's like so they had a talk. Anyway, so goes back in time with the Pym particles, returns the stones. Which, by the way, that in itself, now they've already got a 3-hour movie. With the 5-hour movie of how the hell did he get those stones back? How did he go to Vormir? Which I'd love to see the scene where he's confronting spectral version of Red Skull and like, I gotta return this stone. Wait, but you have to. No, I don't have to sacrifice anybody. I'm giving it back. It's like, you owe me. So like, all right, what do you want? Well, I don't know. Maybe like Grandpa. I don't know. All right, fine. Hey, cool. Put it in the tray. Anyway, so he goes to Vormir. He has to go to Asgard and like inject the ether back into Jane. He's got to go to Morag. I mean, there's a lot that guy had to do. Yeah. Like they just kind of pass it off as like, oh, and now the easy part. Like, no, actually, that's it's a lot to do. Anyway, he did it, and then he decides to go and back to probably just post World War II. It looks based on the cars and everything. So like maybe the early 1950s. And reunite with Agent Carter. He has that dance. He had that the vision of him dancing with her in Age of Ultron, and it comes to pass in a reality. Now, see, here's the thing. I thought he was this. He'd age up, and so there'd be 2 Steve Rogers. Part of that time, there'd be one Steve Rogers frozen under the water.
Yes.
And then at some point, that one would get brought back, and then there's 2 of them, but one's really old.
Yep.
And this guy just doesn't talk about anything. It's like, I mean, you're fine. You got it on your own. But from that article that you shared with me, it appears the directors are like, nope.
Yep. Nope.
No. There's no old Cap America hanging out, shirking his responsibilities. No. That's an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
So basically, he lived out a different timeline where maybe he did help out, frankly. Whatever.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe just like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. And then at some point, he's got maybe more of the Pym particles or something, and he switches back to this reality to say goodbye. So that the fact that he's on the bench is the part where he like leaped back to this reality. But until that moment, he was in a completely different reality.
Yeah.
So that is bizarre.
Yeah.
It's all bizarre when you're talking time travel.
Yes.
But,
well, so, yeah, especially their brand of time travel. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I still don't exactly understand, but
Right.
you're educating me on this, sir. All right. So, so we say farewell to the team as we knew it.
Yeah.
The team going forward. Actually, interestingly, so you've got Hawkeye has a daughter that he was teaching how to shoot. He called her Hawkeye.
Right.
In fact.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah,
goes,
he did. That's
Nice job,
he
Hawkeye.
he was never called Hawkeye in this.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
I don't think he ever was called Hawkeye.
So there's that. She's teenage daughter. You've got Cassie, Scott Lang's daughter, who in the previous movie, they did their little like pretend adventures, and in the comics she is a hero. So she's kind of coming of age. Then you've got a little younger, but still young Morgan Stark, who's the daughter of Tony, who you assume is like she's got all the Brainiac genes. And so
I mean,
you could imagine like the daughters of our heroes all unite to have like I don't know, maybe no.
I mean, she's pretty young.
She's young, but
she's really young.
Well, she'll be like
only 5 years old.
She's like the 10-year-old that goes to college and is like, I graduated Harvard at age 11. Like that person.
I think that would require Gwyneth to be around, and I think she's fine. I think she's probably like, hey, I don't think she's like, oh, I'll be rescued now.
She likes hamburgers just like her dad. That means she's intelligent and can destroy the world, come up with time travel on a whim, sit in the basement.
Yeah, that would surprise me. I mean, if anything,
I'm just saying it's interesting that they all have daughters and they're all teaching them and mentoring their daughters.
Okay.
And now they're all retiring, and then there'd be a new generation.
I mean, who knows? I mean, there's also Monica Rambeau.
Right.
From Captain Marvel there, so yeah.
So just saying, it could be a direction. Yeah. You get the legacy thing going on. Otherwise, in the immediate future, you've got Hulk's obviously still a thing. Probably, I don't know. Maybe he's like, you know what? I'm happy with myself now. I'm well adjusted finally. All right, I'm out of here. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they discussed what his plans
he's got
are.
The bad arm. Now.
It's like. No. I think Chris Hemsworth is probably going to continue, and they have to do, Natasha's Black Widow movie or whatever. But yeah, I mean, his, that whole position of Hulk is difficult anyway because it's co-owned by Universal.
Oh, okay,
so that's why they
he can't have a movie on his own.
Right, he's got to be in other people's movies. I mean, maybe he will be, but I think it. I feel like what we've heard is happening doesn't really involve him, so maybe they'll find a way to involve him, but in the comics there's another guy who's been the Hulk, and it'd be nice if we could get She-Hulk.
Sure
That'd be nice, but again, I think a lot of that tied up in Universal and stuff, so it's not clear exactly what he's going to do. So I'm wondering about all of them now, all the regular Avengers. Obviously we're going to get another Black Panther movie, and we're supposed to be getting the Eternals. And I'd be shocked if this next Spider-Man was the last Spider-Man.
Oh, certainly, right. There'll be more of them. Just because you got to go through high school, which he's now 5 years, whatever. But I thought it was a little odd that. So Thor comes to this moment where he kind of passes off leadership of New Asgard to Valkyrie.
Right.
Which I get that, but like his reasoning was a little weird to me. Like I finally figured out who I am, and I'm gonna go and hang out with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, you didn't want to be the king before.
Didn't he though?
No, he didn't. What are you talking about?
Wasn't he like, I'm the son of Odin, this is what I am, I'm the god of thunder? When Odin's like, you're not the god of hammers, you're the god of thunder. And he acknowledges, he embraces
God of thunder is not that he's supposed to be the king.
Okay.
He was talking about that, how he didn't want to be the ruler or whatever.
He's kind of like the one god left. I don't know. Kind of feels like...
They're all gods. Everybody in Asgard's a god. Everybody in Asgard's a god.
But not everybody's Odin level god.
No, true.
They're like accountant level god.
But he does not want to be that. They've talked about that many times.
Okay, all right. I just felt like that kind of is who he is, but he's fighting it. Like in other words, whatever. Oh, I'm going to shirk my responsibilities and go play at the arcade. I'm going to play Fortnite and yell at people. That's who I really am. Like, no, it's not. You're freaking son of Odin. Go do your Odin-y things. No?
No.
All right. All right.
I mean, you look at terms of the, to me...
He's Space Bum.
He's Space Bum.
Okay.
No. I mean, to me, unfortunately, I don't think they did a good job, in the first two movies, Thor movies, of explaining what's interesting about Thor and Asgard. So, by blowing it all up, they found the interesting thing about Thor.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting that they have new Asgard on Earth, and that's going to stick around.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had Valkyrie, and there's like a branch of the Avengers that's just all women. I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up in that.
Okay.
Because they tried in that movie.
With Cassie and Hawkeye Jr. Okay. Okay, actually, Captain Marvel was interesting. Her placement in this movie. Obviously they hadn't even written her in at the point when they were filming this, or like she hadn't had her movie yet.
That's what it was.
They filmed her first.
That's why her hair's all different, like twice. I guess that's really long.
Because
and then it's like then short.
I would say one of the less effective plot beats that they had to kind of write in here was I just have to disappear for a while. Oh, there's other people need me.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like something's more important than snapping out half-life in the universe? No, you should stay here. But they couldn't make her stay there because...
Well, in the first movie... Oh, sorry. In the first part of the movie, they needed her to tackle Thanos. And then he was killed.
Right. But then she's just gone.
Right.
And then she comes back and is like, oh, wow, you were really effective.
Right.
It might have been nice to have you be really effective about 15 minutes ago.
Their plan is not to deal with Thanos.
Yeah.
The plan is to go back in time to get the things, and then it's like they don't know that they're going to have Thanos around. So
it's just somebody of her abilities they probably could have helped earlier. Yeah? No? She destroys his ship single-handedly.
Yeah. But they didn't know they'd need to. They didn't even know that. They had to go back in time.
Guard the headquarters while we do. All right. Anyway, it felt like there was a little convenient.
See,
like
okay,
they were like,
what? Now,
we don't want her around right now.
I'm going to come back hard on you now, because so here's the thing that everybody does, which is kind of irritating to me, which is like, oh, why didn't they just call the most powerful person to come in and solve the problem? Oh, and ruin the movie. Right. Why didn't they do that?
Because they would have ruined the movie.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. Whenever there's and I do this all the time, like I'm doing now, where you're like, hey, here's a thing that would break the plot. Why didn't they do that? I get it. But
here's the main thing to me. It was really taking the original Avengers and saying, okay, how are their stories going to conclude? So the fact that, yes, you had an important character of Captain Marvel as part of the story is fine. It's great.
I'm just saying.
But that to be in the main part of the thing when they're trying to focus on resolving all these original characters' stuff.
I hear that.
So all she should have to be is in a little bit.
Maybe just
the way
a little.
That she was.
A little, because so much of the movie was so clever. Maybe a slightly cleverer way to get her separated from the main action than just like, I gotta go for a while. I'll be back. Like,
So it's like 5 years later, where hey, there are problems in other places other than the Earth.
Nope.
But no. Obviously, Captain Marvel stay here. Stay here. Right. Deal with what's going on here.
I'm just saying. All right.
I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
I'm just saying.
It just like plot-wise, I thought there was a little bit of like a wink, wink. If she's here, she's going to solve the plot. So let's have her be somewhere else. Go away. All right. No.
It's the Avengers movie. The Avengers.
Of which she is one.
Movie. Is she?
You don't think she's an Avenger?
Only because she was there when the beginning of the movie happened, and they ran off when they came up with the name.
Well, because that's how Nick Fury came up with it to use Avengers.
Oh, that was after she left?
Yeah. He's like, I'll call the Avengers.
No, she was there at the beginning of the movie where they go to kill Thanos, and then she's done.
It's like, see ya. All right.
I mean, I guess we missed the initiation scene.
Yeah. Right, that's the I like this one. There you go. That's the initiative.
It's like I guess she's an Avenger in that they're all running off doing their little things. her in other parts of the universe. It's like they've got Earth and she's got everything else. But why aren't you
You're
here
saying her task
on
list
Earth?
is too huge?
Yeah, it's pretty
She's
big.
like, I'll take these 8,000 agenda items.
The only
you
other
take this one
characters who
agenda.
deal with things was Rocket and what's her name?
Nebula?
Nebula, yeah.
Who used to
And
be
they're
a
on
villain
Earth.
until very recently. All right, speaking of Nebula, I did enjoy this little moment. It's one of the first moments in the movie. She and Tony are dying essentially, trying to figure out a way to save themselves, but running out of air. And they're playing the little the little folded up football game thing. And it's like, all right, you kick it through the uprights, and see what you just did there, you won. And then Tony asks her, did you have fun? And you can see in that moment, and she ends up saying, yes, I had fun. To her, the idea of playing a game was never fun, right? I mean, her life was spent competing with Gamora, losing, and then being punished by having some part of her replaced by a machine. So the anytime that she was, here's a competition, first 1 to 3, go, was like life and death, never fun. I can imagine playing a game for Thanos' approval would never be something you would enjoy doing. And so it was just kind of an interesting moment of I actually had fun just playing a game for no particular reason, even though we're about to die. That was a fun, but it also made me think would you want to play a game? If you're you know what, let's play some Boggle. I don't know, you bring out a Trivial Pursuit with Nebula. Let the Wookiee win. That's kind of the maybe don't. I don't want to see what happens when I assume she'd be a bad loser. Is my point. But,
I hear you.
But she didn't. She won.
No, she won.
And was happy.
There
had
you
fun.
go. Yeah.
It was cool. It was a cool little character.
Yeah,
beat.
nice little character beat. One thing I liked was that pretty much just about Tony's last words were "I am Iron Man."
Yeah. Calls back to the first movie.
It's. That was the thing that I was most impressed with in the first Iron Man movie, is that they so quickly, with one phrase, jettisoned the typical idea of a superhero.
Gotta keep your fake identity.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? No. This is me. And it's something you think about. There are only a few characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who have secret identities. Everybody else, everybody knows who Steve Rogers is, because you can go to a museum and see it. It'll show you that.
Sure.
So everybody knows who Steve Rogers is. Everybody
knows who Black Widow is.
Yeah, everybody knows who that is. Everybody knows who Thor is.
Most people seem to
know
who
who
Hulk is.
Don Blake. Yeah, most of the seen who. They probably don't know Banner, but they know the Hulk. So anyway, all those characters, with Spider-Man, they've kept, but it'd be interesting. It's like.
Although even with that, you know how many people know he's Spider-Man now? I mean, that's a lot of people know he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Right.
But you're right. Theoretically, to the world at large,
right.
He's still technically in disguise.
Yeah. But so that was one of the great things.
It was a cool direction for them to take, because it removed some plot restrictions.
Yeah. So to have him end his life with that phrase was really powerful. I really liked that a lot.
I agree. One scene right after that I thought was a little, the impact of it I thought was lost a tad bit. So he's dying, which is very impactful.
Yes, yeah. What are you talking about, Peter Parker?
Yeah. So Peter's saying goodbye to him, but right behind him, is this guy's wife, and she's like, "Get out of the way so I can say goodbye." But so it's like. Yeah, let the guy say goodbye to his wife.
Yeah, Peter. I think I would have rather, Pepper use her repulsor powers to boom, just push him away.
Just obviously what they were thinking is, hey, we had this really touching moment where Peter was dying, and we'll switch it around. Yeah. Which is fine if that's the only person you're going to say goodbye. But if you have someone else
who's
waiting in the wings to say goodbye, it's like, that kind of reduced the impact of that.
I think it would have been better if he was just off having that moment.
Right. You could see him being sad or whatever. Yeah. Because, yes, this was a moment for Pepper and Tony to have their moment. So anyway, but it was still, a very effective scene. He passes away. What do you make of the fact that it seems like perhaps the most important character in this movie was the rat hanging out in the storage compartment that walked over the keyboard.
Don't got a problem.
That brought Ant-Man back.
Just fine.
Maybe.
Yes?
Maybe this is a shared universe. It's Remy from Ratatouille.
Oh.
Came back. Okay, no. That was some random chance happening.
Yes.
But, hey, you need a little random chance sometimes.
You do.
Make stuff work. Maybe there'll be some movie later on where they'll show that somebody actually sent the rat. Well, probably not. If you ever see some guy named like Ratman, and he's like Ant-Man's somewhat nemesis, but they're actually kind of friends, and he's like, Ratero, as a callback to Thundercats. All right.
Oh, all right.
So yes, there we go. Those are, that's just a scatter shot of thoughts.
Yes.
We were just like,
yes.
But
think you're lucky stars that you didn't have to hear about the names.
Ant-Man and the Memorial. I'm not doing that. All right, never mind.
It was worse than a spiel about Lord of the Rings. I'll just say that.
Well, because everything is worse than that. Maybe one day I'll bring up that point. But yes, it is so not worth bringing up that I'm not bringing it up. Okay. I was weirdly put out by a particular scene. So anyway, there you go. Thanks, everybody. An amazing movie. Put your comments down.
Yeah.
Let us know some of your favorite parts.
What do you
or parts
think about
that you were
the whole
time travel?
Gamera question? What do you think about that? Gamera question.
Or Gamera. Now you've thrown him into
Is Gamera
Godzilla.
going to be in it?
Hirohito Gamera. Okay. All right. With that, bye, everybody.